a couple of weeks. It was an eventful end to the Canadian Grand Prix for you and Lando. How was the post-race debrief?
It was fine. Half of it was on the way to the stewards' room, so that was fun. But no, all good. We spoke about it honestly before we even got back to the team. Lando put his hands up and apologised. So no, all good, and looking forward to going racing again.
Look, just one final point on this. Any changes going forward to the papaya rules that we've spoken about in the past?
Nope, same as always. Obviously what happened in Canada wasn't ideal, but we're still free to race, still fighting for a championship each. So no, keep going racing and make sure that obviously we don't come into contact again.
Now, what learnings did you have in Canada? Because that was the first race this year that we haven't had a McLaren on the front row of the grid. Why was the car so difficult there? Do you think that will carry over into this weekend here in Austria?
I hope not. We got taken by surprise a little bit that we weren't as strong as we hoped in Canada, but hopefully it's a one-off. I think by the time we got to qualifying, I think we're in a better place in the race. I think our pace was actually not bad, just we qualified a bit further back. So I think we'll be strong again. I think we kind of understand what went wrong in Canada. So we'll try and have a better weekend here, but I'm confident we'll be back on top form.
Is there talk of new parts this weekend as well? And what are you expecting from them?
We do have some new parts, yes. I think some bits at the front of the car, and hopefully it makes us quicker. That's normally the plan.
And the weather is due to be very hot this weekend. Do you think that'll bring it more back into McLaren territory?
Potentially, I'm not sure. I don't think it's made the biggest difference this year. We've seen it at some races where it's been cold, we've still been strong. At some races where it's been hot, others have still been strong. So I don't think it's so much to do with the temperature or the weather. It's just going to be, how the track suits everyone's cars, and hopefully it suits us well.
All right, thank you for that. Good luck this weekend. Esteban, let's come on to you now. Cracking race in Montreal, Haas's 200th Grand Prix to P9. Did that take you by surprise?
By surprise, no, but we knew that our race pace was going to be better than our quali pace. It's usually the case, so we did a really good strategy. I was very happy with that. Managed to fight with Carlos the whole race as well, which was this a good surprise because we thought they were going to be quite a lot quicker than us. But it was very nice for our 200th Grand Prix that we managed to score some points. It took a while because there was a lot of decisions happening after the race, in the FIA's room. But it was all good in the end, and we sealed the points, which was a good thing.
Esteban, it seems this year that every time you have a sniff of an opportunity for points, you're nailing it. Is that how you see it?
I think it can go wrong very easily, on that side. But so far, definitely when we had the performance, we were sealing, the opportunities. And in such a tight midfield, you need to be taking these points every time, even if it's one or two, because you never know when someone's going to have a great weekend. You suddenly recover all your loss in one go. So, for us, it can only seem like 2 points, but it's. I'm not going to say it's a victory, but it's almost like a podium for us. So, it was a pretty strong race, and we need to keep that going. See how the car feels this weekend. It's an interesting track always. The team has done well historically here. So we'll see if our VF25 will work well here.
It's a good point. The team has had a good record here over the years, both cars in the points last year. Does that give you more confidence than, let's say, going to Canada last weekend?
We will see. I think it's been great that the team had good races historically, but it's good preparation because you can rely quite a lot on some data and what the team has done last year in terms of work. But we need to see when we put the car down in FP1, see how we are compared to the others, and not arrive too confident, obviously.
Final one from me. The FIA's steward guidelines for penalties and driving standards have been made public today for the first time. Do you see this as a good move just to increase people's understanding of the sport?
I think so. I mean, I thought that was public already before, so that's
public to you and the team,
yeah,
but not the general public.
So it is news to me, but yeah, I think that's a very good thing. That it's transparent for everyone.
Okay, look, thanks for that. Good luck this weekend to you. And Gabriel, let's come to you now. New parts a couple of races ago seemed to lift the performance of the car. You've got more new parts this weekend. So just what is the mood in the camp at Sauber coming into the Austrian Grand Prix?
Well, for sure it's good. Barcelona, we brought this new upgrade that worked very well. So we expect a jump again with the new parts. Obviously, we need to see how big is it going to be. If it's going to be as much as the one that we brought in Barcelona, a bit smaller. We are only going to know tomorrow on track. But I'm looking forward to it. The team has been doing a very good job developing the car still in a good way for this year and finding some lap time. And hopefully we're going in the right direction. At least that's what it looks like. We're getting closer and closer to be fighting for points. Let's say in a better constant way, because so far this year, obviously before Barcelona was, unless there was big crashes ahead and a chaotic race, I think it was very tough to score points. And from Barcelona on, I think we are at least in the fight now that we can fight for it. So let's see. Hopefully this weekend will give us even more chances for it.
Gabriel, what about your own performances in the car? We're at the halfway point in the season pretty much now. Just how comfortable are you in the car in terms of just extracting performance both in a race and over one lap?
Well, I think I'm a bit more confident and comfortable with the car in a one lap. But since the beginning of the year, the pace has been there in a one lap. Since Australia, I already felt quite comfortable. Obviously, I've been evolving since then and understanding a bit better how the car works and what does it need to go faster from my side as a driver and as a setup side as well that I need to push for. In the race, I feel like I have a very experienced teammate on my side, so sometimes I feel like he still has a wider vision of the race than I do in the moment. So what is happening around him, the strategy he's going for, or the way he's pushing or not at the beginning of the race to save the tires, stuff like this, But I think things that you get with experience and as a rookie you learn. And you can actually only learn doing these mistakes sometimes. And I feel like Nico has been doing a very good job in the races on this side, also positioning himself in good ways in lap one. We are always starting very close to each other, but somehow there's two positions makes a big difference in the impact of the big picture of the race. So yeah, but so far I'm quite happy. I mean, I feel like I'm extracting quite a lot of it in a one lap, as I said, and now we are making the jump in the right direction for the race pace.
And how much of an advantage is it coming to a track that you know so well, like the one here in Spielberg, where you won the feature race in Formula 2 last year?
Well, it's definitely positive, It's better than going to a track that you definitely don't know and you lose a bit of time understanding a bit what you can do or not in the track. But still, I mean, it's a new track for me in F1, so it will be a bit different approach comparing to F2. As F2, it's much slower here in the high speeds, so it will be interesting. But definitely, I'm confident about it. I'm happy to be in Red Bull Ring. I have very good memories in this place, not only in F2, but in F3 and other series, and looking forward for the weekend.
All right, thank you for that. Let's now open this to the floor. Broadcasters first. Where are we going? Yeah. Craig, you first.
Yeah, Craig Slater from Sky Sports. A question for Oscar. The team obviously want to allow you to fight, but do you have sympathy? How difficult is it for them to, in a way, police an absolutely even contest between the two of you? For example, could you have pitted a bit later in Canada, but didn't do so to avoid Leclerc maybe disturbing the team result, and that created a little bit of an imbalance which saw Lando being able to attack you?
Not really. I mean, we've been doing things in terms of strategy to just try and get the best result for each car. I was trying to beat the cars ahead of me, and we wanted to give me enough laps to try and pass them. It is a difficult position. I think the fact that we've got a healthy lead in the Constructors' Championship makes that a little bit easier to manage, but it's obviously a tough situation. So, I think we've done a very good job of managing things, of preempting things, and not being naive. That whilst it's a good position to be in with two strong drivers and a good lead in the Constructors' Championship, it obviously does have certain aspects that are difficult to manage. So I think we've been doing a very strong job of that.
Thank you. Yeah, Nelson.
Nelson Volker for Viaplay for Esteban. Sorry to surprise you. Again. It's been an inconsistent year for most of the midfield, and Haas is no different. Is it different this season compared to the ones you've had before? And is it something that the team particularly struggles with to get consistent results from weekend to weekend?
Yes, it's a very good question, because this is what we are trying to improve. Our consistency in terms of performance. The issue is how close the field is, especially in the midfield. 1/10 can be 3 or 4 position, or can make you go into Q2 or not, or can make you go into Q3 as well. So that's the difficulty. A couple of years ago, you could be 2 or 3 tenths, slower, but still keep your position, compared from one team to another. Now it really is about nailing the lap, about nailing the setup, and get everything under control. And if your car is not suiting well the track, well, you clearly have no chance in qualifying. You still have a chance in the race because it's so close between everyone, but you don't in quali, and that's where the difficulties are.
Thanks for that. Yeah, Rosanna.
Rosanna Tennant, 5 Live. A question for Oscar. With quite a healthy lead at the moment, do you envisage a time that you'll feel confident enough to ask Andrea and Zach for preferential treatment at some point?
What, a healthy lead in the Drivers' Championship?
Yeah.
Your version of healthy is much bigger than mine. I think for me, I just want, and we all want, to just have a fair opportunity at trying to win both championships. I think especially in the Drivers' Championship, because it ultimately can only be one of us. I think the situation has to change dramatically to start having those conversations, and they're a very long way away at the moment. So at the moment, all I can ask for is a fair chance to try and win the championship, and that's what I want as well. So no, I'm not willing to enter those talks at all.
Thank you.
Question for Oscar. Harry Benjamin, Sky Sports F1. In the last few races, there seems to have been a rise of Mercedes power unit issues, all seemingly different, but across their team, and Williams and Aston Martin as well. Is there any concern from your side and McLaren's side when it comes to the power unit?
No, we've obviously been keeping an eye on them, and whether they're kind of team related or just power unit related. So I don't have any concerns, and I know the team don't either.
Thank you, Mariana.
Mariana Becker from TV Band. Gabriel, usually drivers liking or not liking tracks are related to good memories on these tracks. And I believe you have a good one from here. Do you like this track, and which part of the track, at what in matters of quality of the track that you like? What's the good part of this?
Well, I like this track, but since I actually didn't have maybe great results here in the past, I always liked the way the circuit is made. The low speeds, the high speeds combined, and I think it's a track that is quite complete in this sense. So you need to apply different techniques of driving through the lap to be fast, and I like this concept of tracks that you need to change your driving, adapt, and set up the car in maybe in a different way to behave in a certain area of the track comparing to others. So it's just a bit like a mystery, and I that's why I like this so much.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Tom Sleiferas on Spain. Question for Oscar. Oscar, allow me to go back to what happened in Canada. It felt like the situation didn't escalate much because of the sportsmanship you both guys showed, but I understand that at the beginning of the season you had the opportunity, Lando, yourself, Andrea, the team leaders, to write down the rules of engagement to have it clear when a situation like Canada happened. I was wondering, was there anything that you wanted written down in those rules of engagement or anything that you don't want written down in those rules?
I mean, I think the biggest and most important thing was just that things remained fair from as many aspects as you can. Obviously, there's certain situations that are not always going to be completely fair, whether it's strategy because there's only one pit box or some other things. But I think that's the biggest thing for both of us. I think obviously the first rule, regardless of whether it's written down or not, is that the two cars from the same team don't crash. So I think that's obviously the big thing. But I think in Canada, I think what we've done well this year before Canada is acknowledging that it's a possibility. And I think we dealt with it very well in Canada and since Canada. So, yeah, I don't have anything else. I think what we're doing and the way we're going about things is the correct approach. It's obviously a difficult one to navigate, but that's a good problem to have in some ways. So I think what we've been doing is good, and just a fair opportunity is what we both ask for.